Panama social and union movements ratify continuity of the indefinite stride against neoliberal policies. The U.S. House of Representatives approved record defense appeal of $840 billion to erect Pentagon policy and spending it in the next fiscal year. And in the Palestine, President Abbas met with his U.S. counterpart. Palestinian President called on Joe Biden to make greater efforts for a two-state solution and greater efforts for establishment of a Palestinian state. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Panama social and union movements ratified the continuity of the indefinite stride against neoliberal policies after manipulation in the dollar convened by the national government. The organization's Alianza Pueblo Unido por la Vida, one of the groups leading the protests against the high cost of living, rejected the condition imposed by the government to install a dialogue table. Spokesman of the organization points out that the executive chose without consultation the topics and details of the debate, and also did not summon all the organizations involved in the mobilizations. On the other hand, the General Secretary of the Builders Union expressed that those who are in the streets must reach an agreement with the government to find a solution as soon as possible.
Neoliberal policies are to give to the rich. Today the government, in its trickery to disarticulate, to divide the labor and social movement in this country, has once again set up a dialogue of me with me. But let's see who they call. Corrupt businessmen like those who are going to enter. The false civil society that does not represent anyone. They call the thief deputies of the National Assembly. Then we cannot allow once again that they continue repeating the same game of the governments.
Social and workers' organizations continue to mobilize against the neoliberal policies of Laurentino Cortiz's government.
The government must attend to all the organizations that were summoned. In this case, those who are in the streets demanding to solve the problem of the situation that aggravates the country in terms of health, food and fuel. We as an organization are here and will continue in the struggle until the people sit down to talk and look for an answer. Getting them out of the hands of the PRT, its business allies and traditional parties will be one of the most difficult tasks for the Panamanian social movement. All is not lost, gentlemen of the police. Even if you are on the other side, you are our brothers. You are part of the people, and that doctrine that the U.S. has gradually put in your head has to come out, and it will be a product of the experience of what you are suffering in your homes.
Indigenous movements and the Ecuadorian government held on Friday a table dialogue focused on fuel subsidies and debts with public and private banks. The talks began last Wednesday, July 13, at the headquarters of the Ecuadorian Bishop Conference, where the end of the national strike that took place in the country from June 13 to 30 was negotiated. The meeting settled the issues to respond to an agenda promoted by the Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities of Ecuador, CONAIE, organizers of the protests together with other movements. The indigenous leader Leonidas Isas assured after the meeting that the first proposal could be consolidated during the day while reaffirming the commitment of his organization to advance in the dialogue process.
At this moment we have had elements, data, especially to cross-check with the government's information and with our data. Therefore, today the first proposal have to be consolidated. In that sense, on our part, as we have said, always open to this dialogue process, but a dialogue that also allowed to have concrete results.
On Friday, the President of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, points out that Latin America has great leaders such as the President of Argentina, Alberto Fernández.
There are very good leaders in Latin America.
Latina.
People that I view with great respect.
Yo veo con mucho
Such is the
respeto.
case of Alberto
Es el
Fernández,
caso de Alberto Fernández,
Argentina's president.
presidente de Argentina.
He's a person with convictions,
Persona con convicciones,
honest,
honesto,
fully prepared,
muy preparado, con
with political experience.
oficio político.
In the same line, the Mexican head of state highlighted the economic management of Bolivian President Luis Arce and his predecessor Evo Morales.
El presidente
The
de
president of Bolivia, Luis Arce,
Luis Arce,
first
de
of all,
primera, fue el
he
secretario
was
de
the finance
Finanzas
secretary of Evo Morales.
de Evo Morales. Esto no lo sabe
This is
la
not
gente
known by the people
porque los medios
because the
están
media are
controlados
controlled
por el
by the
conservadurismo.
conservative,
No todos,
not all,
¿no? Pero
but
la
the majority,
mayoría, sobre todo los
especially
medios
the electronic conventional media.
electrónicos convencionales. Pero durante el
But during
tiempo
the time that Evo was president,
fue presidente y Luis
and Luis
Arce,
Arce was in
el
charge of
encargado de
finance,
Hacienda, Bolivia fue
Bolivia
el
was the
país
country with the
con
highest
más
economic growth
crecimiento
in America.
económico en América.
The Cuban Prime Minister Manuel Marrero Cruz offered a warm welcome to the Executive Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez Gomez, who made a work visit to the Caribbean island. During the meeting, which was also attended by the Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez Parrilla, both leaders highlight the excellent level of ties between Cuba and Venezuela, an exchange on a state of bilateral cooperation and the regional and international situation, as well as the willingness to continue strengthening the bonds of brotherhood and the permanent strengthening of the Bolivarian Alliance for the people of our American People's Trade Treaty. We'll take a short break now. Join us again after this. Welcome back to From the South. For money for defense, the United States House of Representatives on Thursday approved an $840 billion plan to erect Pentagon policies and expanding in the next fiscal year. With 329 votes in favor and 101 against, the plan was approved in the midst of one of the most critical inflationary crises in the last 40 years. Proponents claim that this budget safeguarded the country against China's development in advanced military technologies. The proposal also provides $1 billion more in military support for Ukraine, with a specific call for the Defense Department Inspector General to report every 6 months on how that aid is being spent. Now the bill travels to the Senate, where a new version will be approved for another vote in both chambers in a few months. And once voted on, it will be sent to the White House for President Biden's signature. Hundreds of Moroccans firefighters and soldiers battled to put out at least 4 fires ripping through forests in the north of Guinea, planning evacuation of nearly 500 families, the provinces of La Rochelle and Tass. Several villages that were evacuated also saw military planes dropping loads of water to extinguish fire threatening across the dry terrains. Shocked about how fast the flames were spreading, residents fled their homes with some families surrendering their cattle. Since Wednesday night, at least 1,000 hectares of forests have burned in Liches and Osen, according to initial reports. Living born trees smoldered under a sky blanked by plumes of smoke. In the midst of the heat wave, multiple forest fires spread in several countries in southern and central Europe. The European Union Emergency Response Coordination Center is working with multiple countries to coordinate the use of specialized aircrafts to extinguish fires in the worst affected areas. Aircrafts have been deployed to fight the flames that are spreading in high temperatures. The most important fires have been recurring in Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Albania, and Croatia. In addition, the Copernicus emergency satellite belonging to the European Union has provided images that offer damage assessment map to the governments of each country. In contrast to the fires, heavy rains in China continues to cause damage in the northwest and northeast provinces, disrupting local traffic and activating emergency response plans. In Jiangnan City, Shenxi Province, maximum rainfall reaches 147.4 millimeters, prompting the city to activate its emergency flood response plan. The city issued red alert for geological disaster due to the rains. And rains in the Asian region affected Pakistan. The National Disaster Management Authority, in its recent balance sheet, reported that at least 165 people died and 171 others were injured after rainfall associated with the monsoon that has been unleashed in several areas of the country. For more than 10 days, the Pakistani agencies reported that the current monsoon rains have totally destroyed 350 houses and partially destroyed another 781. Finally, it added that it is keeping relief actions active and is managing a process of delivery of supplies to those affected by the rain. Data from the World Health Organization and the United Nations Children Fund have revealed a drop of the percentage of vaccine in children. A report issued by both organizations relates misinformation, conflicts, and supply or continuity of care problems related to COVID-19 pandemic as the reasons why. According to the report, in 2019, the vaccination percentage stood at 86%, but in 2020, it fell to 81%. The situation has given way to outbreaks of measles and polio in the last 12 months and even higher rates of malnutrition. UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Russo said that we are facing a serious red alert related to the health of our children. We have more news coming up after this final short break, so don't go away. Welcome back. The president of the Palestinian National Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, called on his U.S. counterpart, Joe Biden, to make greatest efforts for a two-state solution and greater efforts for the establishment of a Palestinian state. During a press conference, the Palestinian leader reiterated the importance of reestablishing the foundations of which the peace process was based and called for a two-state solution. The proposal urged Washington to encourage Arabs' enlargement and normalization with the occupying Israel regime. In the midst of Biden's visit to the region, he was being criticized by different peoples for affirming his support to the Israeli regime and seeking Saudi support in order to control the oil market. In the framework of Biden's visit to Palestine, residents of the Bethlehem organized a demonstration this Friday to express their rejection of the president. The demonstrators carried banners condemning Israeli settlements, construction policies in Palestinian territories, and demanding justice for the murder of journalist Shireen Abu al-Qaeda in May during an Israeli military raid. On Friday, the presidential advisor of the United Arab Emirates, Edward Karkash, declared that his country will not take part in any actions against Iran. The official affirmed that his government will soon send an ambassador to Tehran to reestablish bilateral relations. The statements follow claims by the President of the United States, Joe Biden, who suggests that he spoke on the subject during his visit to Israeli rulers. Abu Dhabi assured that it does not seek confrontations with its Iranian neighborhood. The European Council considers a seventh package of sanctions against Russia that includes a veto on Russian gold, while its restrictions on the supply of food. The mechanism, which is in the process of being drafted, will prohibit the import of gold from Russia to Europe, including through third countries, and in contrast, will list the sanctions imposed to limit the import of Russian agricultural products. The representative of the community bloc planned to discuss the new package next week for final approval before the summer vacations. New individuals and entities considered closest to Kremlin will also be blacklisted. In addition, Belgium presented a contingency plan to reduce gas demands in the event of possible supply cuts by Russia. The proposal seeks to encourage companies and industries to cut consumptions and replace gas with other sources of energy, including coal and nuclear sources. The plan was named Safe Gas for a Safe Winter and proposed that the thermostat in public buildings, offices, and stores could never be set below 25 degrees Celsius in summer and never above 19 degrees Celsius in winter. teleSUR English continues to grow. Signal now reaches Europe, and you can order it from your cable dealer to tune yourself. These parameters that you see on the screen are in place since July 1st, and quite seems for the changes will be implemented for the signal in the Middle East and Africa. Now more than ever, the world connects to us, and our stories are being heard all around the globe. This news multi-platform will continue providing trustful content to oppose the humanist media's narrative and our faithfulness to our audience. With that story, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well for teleSUR English. I'm from the South. I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.